Everyone ready? Okay, I think we're ready.
You're at home watching a soccer game, and out of nowhere you see a player collapse in the field. You were thinking, oh my god, what happened? After a few minutes, the commentators announced that the player suffered a heart attack. You grab your phone, open your Twitter application, and you tweet your support towards that player. Unfortunately, there are people that would do the opposite. They would racially abuse that athlete and make fun of him and wish he was dead. My name is p4.final.gpagliara, and I was at home watching that game live when it actually happened. I actually picked up my phone and I showed my support to that player. Today I will be persuading that the United States needs to enforce racial hatred on Twitter. I will compare examples from the United Kingdom and the US, what would each do, and then I will give you my solution. Here's the player that collapsed in the field. Some Twitter users racially abuse athletes on Twitter. Fabrice Mwamba, he's an English soccer player, collapsed on March 17, 2012, according to ESPN.com. During a game, he collapsed due to heart failure. Many people sent him tweets to support him, but others didn't. For example, Liam Stacy, a biology student, tweeted, "LOL, F you Mwamba, he's dead, haha." I mean, how can you tweet something like that when he's dying on the field? He was actually dead for 60 minutes. He was rushed to the hospital, and he managed to survive. He actually retired from soccer, and last month he came back for the first time to the stadium. The district judge in England sentenced him to 56 days in jail because he incited racial hatred on a website. Now, the judge said it was not the football world who was praying for Mwamba. Everybody was praying for his life. People reported him, Liam Stacy, on Twitter. That's how the officials found out. Also, the district judge said, "I hope this can be an example for the people, to make them think twice before they tweet such terrible things." Stacy was banned from social websites. He can't use Facebook, Twitter, anything like that. He was suspended from school, and he was actually suspended from his rugby club. Now let's move on to another example. John Obi Mikel, another English soccer player, the picture above it. After making a mistake that cost his club a game and a victory, fans acted angrily and sent him tweets racially abusing him. He eventually closed his account. Now, an example from the US, Miami Heat, LeBron James. In 2010, he got traded to Miami Heat from the Cleveland Cavaliers. He spent a good amount of years playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The day he got traded, fans felt betrayed, fans were angry at him, and they racially abused him on Twitter. He was actually even threatened, life-threatening to his family and himself. Now, another example, Carmelo Anthony from the New York Knicks. He was traded from the Denver Nuggets, and he was actually racially abused the next day too. Now, the US didn't do anything on this. LeBron James had his life threatened. Carmelo Anthony did too, just for switching teams. I mean, this happens in basketball a lot. People get traded, teams need new players. Now, the US didn't do anything on this, but luckily he's fine now. Nothing happened to him. Not even an investigation, according to yahoo.com. That's where I got the information from. Now, what if? Back to the story of Mwamba who collapsed in the field. What if that was your brother, friend, sister laying on that floor because of a heart failure? You wouldn't want anybody to racially abuse that friend just because he was on the field and had a heart failure. You don't want to see that tweet. People sending racial comments to your family member, that's absurd. Now, if you did something like that, you would want justice to be made. You want him to pay for what he did. Now, my solution. We need to be more civil on Twitter by following the British model of harsh public order offence towards racial hatred. And it goes as follows. According to cps.gov.uk, under the law of the UK, incitement to racial hatred is an arrestable offence. Publication of material that incites racial hatred is an arrestable offence. Now, we can stop racial abuse, or at least minimize it in the US. England, they are very harsh when it comes to racial hatred online. Big deal when it comes to racial abuse in sports. England, they tend to jail people for comments like that. Depends on how big the situation was. Now, soccer teams get actually fined. If you see on videos during soccer games, they get fined. If you see a supporter making monkey signs, they will investigate that and they will find that person and actually jail them, and they will find the clubs also because that's abusive with the fans. Now, we are protected on the First Amendment, freedom of speech, but we need to be more civil on Twitter. I believe that if we harshly enforce rules, we can make a difference and not stop completely racism, but at least we can make a difference and minimize it. Now, I suggest that we can punish people by giving them fines, jail time, even community hour service, depending on how big the issue is. You can agree with me or you can disagree with me, but hopefully you can agree with me on this. In conclusion, we can see that racial abuse on Twitter is a problem that needs to be fixed. Now, think twice before you send a racist tweet to somebody, because you're not only hurting themselves. You're only hurting that person. You're also hurting yourself by sending the wrong image of a person that you really are. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. 1 second. Okay.